Lions very rarely attack humans. It's other animals that are more dangerous than lions. You know what's the number one dangerous animal? You know what it is? The hippopotamus kills the most, but it's not the most dangerous animal is the buffalo. Yeah. Only because you can't tell if it's about to attack. It has a poker face, and all of a sudden it charges. Once it charges, it doesn't stop. A lion will growl, its ears go back, it does a mock charge, then it charges. Kids you can get away from it. Not about, stay away from the buffalo. All right, are we on? Oh, now that we had a little shear in safari. The bottom line is, I think at least 20 people sent me a message about that video with the lions, and not every single person said the same exact thing. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. Like nobody said, "Wow." Like, okay.
Where do we see the lion video?
Online. It's Kreisos Daf Yomi, I think it was. Okay. We're holding 3 lines from the bottom. Daf Yomi base. A Tmur Daf Yomi. No way. Hillel, Shalom Aleichem. I told you it's going to be big simcha these days, one after another. 2 months, what? At least 2 months. Welcome back. Welcome back. Come here. Avi's on the plane. I got a picture of that.
Avi's not on the plane.
No, not on your plane. He's in Romania. You're right. That's somebody. That was Levi sent me. Okay, I'm all.
I was eating Romanian in Romania.
All right, let's go. We got to go. We got a lot to accomplish today. Same rules apply, Rabbi Isai. Only very good questions. Zog the Gemara. We had a machlokes like this. You have a king and a kohen gadol who were anointed once before. They were already anointed. Somebody comes along and decides to be yotze again the mitzvah. Are you chayiv or not chayiv? So Rameir says you chayiv. V'am Rabbi Yosef and my pligi. What's the machlokes? Rameir Rabbi Yehuda. Gab melachim v'koyanim. Rameir sava v'ashayite mimenu al zar ksiv. The isser is to anoint a zar, a Yisrael, a zar. Umelech v'koyin hashta zarim ninu. Says Rameir, at the end of the day, how do we view this kohen, gadol? How do we view the melech? Is he considered a zar or not a zar? He's a zar. You know why he's a zar? Because he doesn't need oil. He's already has the oil. So beneged to the shemen hamishcha, he's considered a zar. Rameir Yechayev. Rabbi Yehuda, Gam Melachim v'Koyanim. Where am I? Rameir Savashidim and Zog Siv Melech Kohen Hash Zar Minu. Rabbi Yehuda Savar Beino Nadeik Zar Mitchilas Vat Soifoi. You need from beginning to end. So at the end of the day, he's not a zar. So memela yipater. Why is he not a zar this kind? Because once upon a time he needed the shemen and mishcha. Yesterday he needed it. Before you did it the first time. You're right, today he doesn't need it, but you need to go from beginning to end. In order to be considered a zar, you need to be a zar your entire life. And this melech was, at one point, he was not a zar b'neget to shemen and mishcha, because he needed the shemen and mishcha. And memela we have something very similar. Alright, big brother Rabami Vazu Tamayu, the Sanya. Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. Bas Kohen Shenisis Li Yisrael V'Achla B'Truma. You have the daughter of a Kohen who married a Yisrael. Now, anybody that eats Truma by mistake has to pay the principal plus a Chomesh. What are you smiling about? A lot of words. A lot of words. He's excited. You push it with simcha. So what's the simcha? That I have to do it or that you don't have to do it? Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, trust me, I was laughing my head off the last month. You could laugh. So very interesting. This Bas Kohen who got married, is she considered a zar or is she considered a Bas Kohen? So at the end of the day, right now, what happens if her husband dies? She goes back to eating truma. So she's not a zara, says Rashi. She's not a zara. You can't call her Yisrael. She still has within her a bit of kahuna if her husband dies.
She has no children.
Right? Therefore, if she eats truma, which she's not supposed to because she's married to Yisrael, by mistake, she doesn't have halacha like a regular Yisrael. She doesn't have to give you the chaimish. And if she's mizana, she gets the sreifa that a bas kohen gets, because she's still a bas kohen. Oh, now what happens if she married somebody who's pasul? And what does that cause? That means that she'll never eat truma again in her life. So how do we view it? Do we view this woman as somebody who, lemaisa, right now she's a zara? At the end of the day, right now she'll never go back to her father? Or no, in order to be a zar, you need to be from beginning of your life to the end. So it's a very similar machlokes. Nisis lechem manapsulim mishalemes kerem v'choymesh. Umisasa b'chenek divrei Remeir. Remeir says that at this moment, let's look at it right now. Right now, she's a zara. She can't eat truma anymore for the rest of her life. Therefore, her oynish changes from streifa to chenek, and she has to pay like a regular Yisrael, a keren and a choymesh. It remains the same because you need to be a zara from beginning to end. We had the machlokes yesterday. That Remeir says, how much do you have to anoint a zar? You have to give a mashu, a little bit of shemen. And as we explained yesterday, that you learn nesina from nesicha. That's a mashu. But anytime the Torah mentions the concept of nesina, as Rashi brings, for instance, levaina, that you put a levaina into a mincha, it has to be a nesina. The Torah uses lashon nesina. Over there it means a full kazayis, not a mashu. Even Remeir admits. It's only because he learns it from sicha. Sicha is a mashu, so this also is a mashu. Guva. We had yesterday. One of the reasons why if you anoint a guy, you are potter, because the guy is not in the parsha of sach. He's not mechuyev on himself. He doesn't have to be careful not to put the shemen on himself and to put shemen on others. He could do it to others. So you could do it to him. The Gemara just now uses a nice drasha, and the only chart for today really, just because we have to have a chart, so it goes like this. It says Yisach with two yuds, and this is an extra yud. So what do you do with the extra yud? You insert it between the samach and the chaf, and it comes out Yasich. What does that mean? That really we're going with the drasha, the drasha word. We're going to start from this word and go back to this word, not the reverse. The what? In other words, for another person. If he's not mechuyev on himself, it says in the pasuk lo yisach ksiv v'karibei lo yasich. Whoever is not in the parsha of doing it to others and himself, then you shouldn't do it to him. But a guy who could do it to himself, then you are not allowed to. But if you do sicha to a guy, you are potur. Interesting. They poured the Shemen Mishcha on the Kohen, and we had the other day, Aaron HaKohen had Shemen HaMishcha on his beard for the rest of his life. What if he were to take that little bit of Shemen and rub it on his belly? He's Chayiv Kares. Chayiv Kares, he's using Shemen HaMishcha because the job is not done yet. Why is it any different? There's another type of shemen, the regular shemen of truma, that any kohen could use to wash his body. It sounds really disgusting. You have a grandfather who takes a bunch of oil and rubs it all over his body. Comes his grandchild who's a Yisrael and rubs himself. And we're talking about a gadol here. A 15-year-old kid comes and rubs his body on his grandfather. Is he chayiv or potter? He's potter because the job is done already by truma. Why is it different than shemen hamishcha? Says the Gemara explains very nicely. Shesach b'shem truma ben bita Yisrael, his grandson, or Rashi says any Yisrael in the world. It just what kind of other Yisrael is going to rub himself? This is unprepared. But when I arrived in Africa, there were a bunch of Africans dancing. You know, Menachem will show you some of his videos. They perform for you and they ask for money. So as a chacham batata that I was, I said I'm going to jump into the group and dance with them. So I started dancing, and I ended up like on the floor with them. And also this guy just like he lays on top of me like he's starting, so this is normal people don't do this kind of stuff. But if it's ben bita shel kohen, It happens. No, I have some picture. I'll show you.
He's not over on
We need proof. There is proof.
Meila for
I have to ask
using
the person that took what?
He's not over on Meila for using the Shemin.
No, that's the point. On Shemin of Truma, not. Ben Bita Yisrael misagil by. This man reminds me. Yeah, he. How do you say misagil? He rolls into it. He rolls it. You get it. Misagil boy. Be'eni choishes. Amalei hasamu meisu boy ki chalalu ksiv kivin chalei hoischal. Over there's a lotion of chilul. You remove the kedusha from it once you use it. The moment you use it, he rubs it on himself. It's gone. It's not true anymore. Avagabi shemen hamishcha, it's different. Ksiv kinezeh lehov olav shem mishcha kairech mana. The Torah calls it and considers it shem mishcha. The mitzvah is not done until it disappears. The avagav the isi olav lo yitchal.
It's not considered done as soon as you give it to him, and it's in his rishus. That's it.
What? You talking about the shemen hamishcha?
No, the truma. Shemen truma.
No, that's to use it. Yeah, because it still has Shem Truma on it. What happened to the Truma? Where did it go? It went, once you put it on your body, then it goes bye-bye. I mean, this fits in very well with the Gemara that we had the other day, 2-3 days ago, that Aaron HaKohen was concerned that he might be moyal, and Kosh Baruch Hu Shevesh Tachim Gam Yochad. You see that it's still there. The Isser of Me'ilah is still there. Says the Gemara. It says in the Mishnah, Elu Chayom Mazdoinoi, right? We had the first Mishnah of Kreisos, 36 averos that you chayiv if you do it on purpose. Kares, b'shoigig you chayiv chatos, and if you're not sure, you bring a asham tali. Says the Gemara. It says in the Mishnah, Ktani chutz mitam mikdash v'kedashav. There's one exception. What is this exception? For what? For what part of it? For which one of the three things? For the kares, for the chatos? It can't be. If a person goes into the kodesh when he's tamei or eats kachim betuma, he's chayiv kares, and if he does it by mistake, he's chayiv oilav yared. So what is it going on? What is it coming for? Mapik le'yachitani, mimay mapik le'yachitani. Chutz mimtam mikdash v'kedashav she'mevi asham tali. On the third thing, you don't bring a asham tali. Why? Because once he brings the oilav yared, asham tali is only on somebody that's chayiv a chatos, a flat chatos. That's it. One type. But once it fluctuates. It's a oil of a yored. It depends on how much money he has. Then you don't bring a asham tali. As the Gemara of Nami chutz mimisha avar. Now we're going to go into a beautiful sugya of Yom Kippur. Very important in Shloshim Yom, Arba'im Yom Kol Chag, Yom Kippur. What does Yom Kippur accomplish for us? We need to know. What if you don't have kavana in your tshuva? Does the day itself mechaper, not mechaper? Here's a beautiful sugya about Yom Kippur. Says the Gemara. Let's also talk about that if somebody did an Aveira and he forgot and Yom Kippur went by, so now he doesn't have to bring a carbon Asham Tali for that Aveira. Another case of a person doesn't have to bring Asham Tali. Amr Shlakish, you know why the reason you don't have to bring Asham Tali? If there's an Aveira existing and the Torah says you don't have to, like Mitam Mikdash V'Kadosh, there's an Aveira, you just don't bring the carbon because it's not shaykh to you. Okay. Whatever the gift says, L'chato. There's no chet anymore. Once Yom Kippur went and once you had a Yom Kippur in your life, then your chet disappeared. So you're not potter now from Hashem Tali. You don't have a chet. It's gone. It's erased. Rabbi Yochanan, the Yom Kippur is mechaper. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, wait a minute. I can't just say a blanket statement that if Yom Kippur went by, you don't have to bring the Asham Tali, because I have a case where a person does have to bring the Asham Tali in Yom Kippur when he kicks Yom Kippur in the face. When he says Yom Kippur, I don't like you. I don't want Yom Kippur. I don't hold of Yom Kippur. B'mevayit, when he kicks Yom Kippur, what? That means that if a person says specifically, I don't hold of Yom Kippur, you're not going to be mechaper me? What?
If you ate, that's chayiv kares. That's different than kicking.
If a person does a naver, let's say he was Michal Shabbos, and then Yom Kippur came and went, he holds of Yom Kippur, so he's potter. He's potter from mechaper because Yom Kippur is mechaper, let's say. But if a person says, I don't care about Yom Kippur, I don't hold of Yom Kippur, I'm a shegit, Yom Kippur doesn't do anything for me, I don't believe in it, then holds Rabbi Yochanan, Yom Kippur cannot force him to have a kapara. I don't believe in it, so you don't believe in it. Finished.
It's an action. It's not an action.
It's a thought. My thought is mevatel the power of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur only helps people that want to be helped. If you say specifically, I don't want to be helped by Yom Kippur, then you don't get helped.
So you did say, he actually said it.
Yeah, okay, so you're talking about if it's Dvarim Shebelev, not Dvarim Shebelev. Over here it says there was an action, he kicked it. It's not literally, but the Kamar he says, Ein Yom Kippurim Mechaper. I don't know if it means literal or not, but okay, let's say he meant literal. Ein Yom Kippurim Mechaper. The Hadavei Basa Yom Kippurim, if he did tshuva after Yom Kippur, Boili Su Yoshim Talui, then he would have to bring. So Mamela, the pshat is that's why I can't just say a blanket statement that if Yom Kippur came and went, you don't have to bring Yoshim Tali, because there is a case where you do have to bring Yoshim Tali. Rish Lakish is it's not true. Yom Kippur has such powers that even if you're a shaita and you don't believe in Yom Kippur and you say specifically, I don't believe in it, it still helps you. Says the Gemara of Plukta, and this is totally in a similar machlokes. Hoimer, lo yizkaperli chatasi, my carbon chatas shouldn't help me. I'm going to bring it, but it shouldn't do anything for me. Abaye Omar, en mechaperes. Rava says, even if you don't believe in it, it does its job. Says the Gemara, the Omar lo tikrav. If he says specifically, I don't want to bring it at all, the kulam lo pligid mechaperes. The chsiv Yaakov oisoiler tzoyin, it has to be not against his will. Keep pligid Omar tikrav lo tichaper. So, anyways, the machlokes is when a person says specifically, I don't want it to work, and Rava says it still works. So Rish Lakish holds.
What's the, like, it's not pigul, it's not nosar, like what is being mevatel, this carbon over here?
What is a carbon? The carbon is I believe in Hashem. I believe that this carbon is going to do its job, and I'm saying specifically I don't want it to do its job.
This is not to do.
What?
You're not doing any. You're not doing pigul. You're not doing nosar.
But a chatas is tshuva, and you're not doing tshuva.
You're doing tshuva. You're saying the carbon is not mechaper.
What do you mean you're doing tshuva? What kind of tshuva is this? When you're saying I don't want this to do its job, I don't want it to do its job.
It's like saying blah blah blah, Eli.
I hear. So you hold like the other man, that's the machlokes here. Kibli, so you understand Rava very well. Kibli Omar tik Rava le'techaper. Abaye Omar emechaperes. The Omar le'techaper. He said I don't want it to be chaper. I can't go against his will. He said I don't want it. Rava chaperes. Kibin the Omar tik Rava. It's like he said blah 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 blah. Kapor memelos. The kapor happens by itself. V'hada be Rava. It's a problem, Judah.
Chose the wrong thing.
Yeah, he chose the wrong thing. Rava took it back. Now, we're going to bring a brisa. It doesn't mention anything about Rava. But as we're going to see later, Rava discusses this brisa. Rava was familiar with this brisa. So it has to be that Rava agreed to this brisa. The Gemara is going to be dancing what these words mean. But the bottom line is that shavim means a person that says it shouldn't work. The Gemara has two other options, and the Gemara is not going with those options. So it has to be, the final option is what we're discussing here. A person brings a carbon and says, I don't want it to work for me. Does it work or not? A person says, I don't believe in it. Vidinu. No, I'm just, yeah. Vidinu. Yom Kippur is similar to Chatos and Asham. They both give a kapara. And this is a blanket statement that even Rava would agree to. The Brisa says, Elo ala shavim. You have to do tshuva when you bring a Chatos and Asham. So if we stop right here, we see that Rava had charata. The Brisa says mefurish. It's only mechaper for people that do tshuva. Lo yamamris. Wait a minute, Chatas and Asham are not so powerful. They only do a kapara for a shogeg. Maybe Yom Kippur is so powerful that it could do tshuva, it could be mechaper for somebody who doesn't believe in Yom Kippur. I just printed it out so you don't have to look on the side of the page. Ach cholak. What does ach cholak mean? It says ach b'sol chodesh hashvi hazeh yom kippurim. What is ach? Ach means you should know this whole thing of Yom Kippur only helps. I'm being mechalik. Ach always comes to separate and divide and say Yom Kippur works. It's a great thing Yom Kippur only if you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, yapi kairis, it's not going to work for you.
What does shavin mean? Do tshuva or believe in it?
Believe in it. Tshuva, right.
Okay, but that has what to do with Yom Kippur.
If I say I don't believe in Yom Kippur, I'm not doing tshuva.
If a person does tshuva, they're doing an actual action. Yom Kippur, believing in Yom Kippur, there's a chiluk here.
What's the chiluk?
The chiluk is even if you don't believe Yom Kippur works,
Yeah.
if you do tshuva, it would.
But it's one and the same. If I don't believe in Yom Kippur, I'm not doing tshuva. Tshuva is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is tshuva. I need to do tshuva on Yom Kippur, and I say this whole process of tshuva doesn't work. It's made up story. Like that mice I told you about my best friend who came to my house and said, I ate Chazer Yom Kippur. He's so excited. Does Yom Kippur work for him or not?
But he has other issues there, but that's the point. No, I'm saying that he's Chayav Kares at that point. That's different.
But why? He says, I don't believe in Yom Kippur.
He ate, no, but he did an action. That's what he ate.
Oh no, you're saying something else, because
That's
that was
what
on
I'm
Yom Kippur, and
Right.
on Yom Kippur might be
Yeah.
different. The Gemara is going to discuss that in a second. B'yom Kippur shemchaber al mezid kishoigig v'hoyel u'mechaber al mezid kishoigig mechaber tamadoi merachok. Fine. My shavim v'shein shavim. Now the Gemara is going to try to get out of it and say, wait a minute, maybe the word shavim doesn't mean like you understood it to mean that I believe in tshuva, I'm doing tshuva. Maybe it means something else. Ilay shavin shoigig loy shavim mezid. Maybe the word shavim means I did it inadvertently. I did it b'shoigig, and loy shavim means mezid. That can be haktani loy mamis kichadas v'asham. We already discussed that in the brisa. It talks about somebody that did it b'shoigig or b'mezid, so it can't be that the brisa is repeating itself. Elo ki hadu ulam Rabbi Yochanan ochal chaylev v'hifresh korban v'hemer datoy. Beautiful cases over here. A guy made a mistake. He ate chaylev, he thought it was not chaylev, or he thought it's mutter, and then he said, okay, I'm going to be a good Jew, I'm going to put a korban on the side. And then he went off the derech. Once you go off the derech, what happens? This korban is no longer a good korban. It becomes dachui. Because as a mumar, you can't bring a korban. Then all of a sudden, I have charata. I said, I want to be firm again. That's it. So now the Gemara wants to say that this person that was a mumar on Yom Kippur and he missed Yom Kippur, it's too late. He can't. Yom Kippur is not going to work for him. Even the following Yom Kippur is not going to be good for him, because that's it. He's nitcha. Just like a korban is pushed off, this guy got pushed off. He said, I'm done with Yom Kippur. I don't believe in Yom Kippur. The Gemara had a havamina that perhaps Yom Kippur should never work for this person. It says the Gemara, no, there's a distinction here. Nihi the itchi korban. A korban is a physical thing. I could push that off forever. Gavra bakar paru. Not true. A person, he could always do tshuva. You don't understand it. Okay. Elo. So what does it mean? So we have to. So we went through two other options. They don't work. Memela shavin and loy shavin means a person that doesn't believe in Yom Kippur or does believe. And you see that Rava took it back that if a person doesn't believe in tshuva, the day is not going to help him.
You can bring another korban.
V'reminu. Now we just said Yom Kippur is mechaper only for people that believe in tshuva. V'reminu yochel Yom Kippur mechaper elo al shinis anaboy v'le'asaboy melach v'koy mikra kodesh. There's three things. Maybe I'll think loinis anaboy. If a person doesn't fast in Yom Kippur, v'asaboy melacha, and he deliberately does an avodah Yom Kippur, v'loy koy mikra kodesh, he didn't do all the davenings they have to do in Yom Kippur. Yochel lo Yom Kippur mechaper tamaloymar. Yom Kippur Mu. Don't get excited. It's only one shita. That even if you do all these things, I would think that you're not, that Yom Kippur doesn't work. It does work. V'tarvayu stam sifrahu v'kashin adadi. Now we have a stira in sifra. They're all written by one person, by Rabbi Yehuda, and it seems to be a contradiction. On the one hand, if I don't believe in tshuva, I don't believe in Yom Kippur is not mechaper, and over here it says mefurish. Even if I don't fast and I do malacha, it's mechaper. Omar Abayo leikasha ha Rebbe aliv the Rabbi Yehuda ha Rebbe aliv the day. The Sanya Rebbe Omer kol avei shabbat Torah bein asa tshuva bein lois tshuva Yom Kippur mechaper. Chutz mepar kol megal panim Torah mefer bris basar. Rebbe says that Yom Kippur is mechaper on everything, even not fasting Yom Kippur is mechaper. The only time a person doesn't get a kapara, if he is parik oil mitzvahs, Rashi says he doesn't believe in all the mitzvahs. Or megal panim la Torah means, Rashi says, like Menashe used to ask questions on psukim. He said, I don't believe in this whole pasuk. Get this out of here. Why don't we do daim? He brings a Rashi. The timna hoisa pilegesh. She's the pilegesh of Lifaz. Who cares? erase this pasuk. That's Megal Pam Torah. No kapara Yom Kippur. Umever Bris Basar. Again, reminds me of my friend, unfortunately, who had a son, and because he has a shita, now he's an atheist, so he had a son, he says, I'm not giving him bris milah, finished. And his wife, who's also from at one point, and she went off with him, she said, well, I have to give him bris, and they fought about it, and a month later, bris, fine. Akoponim, made for bris. This whole line applies over here. Akoponim, made for bris basar, shem asa tshuva, Yom Kippur mechaper, vim lav, and Yom Kippur mechaper. Rav Amahava Rebbe Ali b'denafshei umoy the Rebbe ba'aveiros the Yom Kippurim gufei. Rav wants to say in Svara that if you do an aveira on Yom Kippur itself, do a mechaper. Diloi teimachi kars the Yom Kippur l'Rebbe kivin the choshad v'shad mechaper echem mishkachslo. A beautiful kasha l'chayra. The Torah says you get kars for if you're over an aveira on Yom Kippur. If you don't fast, let's say, but Yom Kippur should be mechaper you right away on the spot. You should get a kapara. How is it possible to get karas when a second later? So what's the answer?
The last second.
Oh, he did the last second. Or what else? He died while he's doing it. Huh?
Isa is also mechaper.
Of what? Yeah. Mrs. Mechaper. If he's maybe he did it at night. Maybe he died before the night. Rashi says, because the pasuk says, the kapara is only in the daytime, not at night. That's one pshat. I didn't expect you guys to know that one.
Somebody dies at night.
Right, Yom Kippur won't be mechaber. You have a Yom Kippur. He doesn't have the daytime to be mechaber. Teinach kores the leilya kores the Yom Kippur. But okay, so how is it possible to get cars during the daytime if Yom Kippur itself is mechaper or mekushya? Dilma bahadei de ko'ochal nahama while he's eating bread chankte umtze umis, right? Like this is on Yom Kippur, but Rabbi Leibler's father on Purim, Yom Kippur Kippurim, he was in his 90s and he ate a steak on on Purim. Unfortunately, chankte. This is what the Gemara says. Umtza. It's interesting because the Gemara starts off he's eating bread. I guess you don't choke on bread. Umtza, the meat killed him. Upon him, so while he's performing the Aveira, boof, he died. So he never had a chance for Yom Kippur to be mechaper him. Inami, some of the shkiyas achama, he did it at the last second of the day. Inami, ba'adei do ovid avito, paskim mora l'shake, this tool that he was using, chopped off his leg, umis, and he died immediately. Chopped off his head. Whatever the case was, instantaneous death.
What happened?
He was in the middle performing an Aveira, and while he's performing, let's say he was using a shovel to dig on Yom Kippur, which is Asr, and the shovel hit him in the head and killed him instantly.
Before he did it?
While he's doing the Aveira, he's shovel, with the Ma'ader, with this tool that he's doing the Aveira, he killed himself. He's using a tractor on Yom Kippur, and the tractor killed him. Umis the loy have shows be mobile chapele. Fine. So Chacham is saying in the Mishnah that if a person is megadif, the typical meaning of megadif, we'll see that it's not so pashut. Megadif means a person that curses the name of Hashem. We'll call it, as the Gemara calls it, mevarach Hashem. It's a lashon saginah. It's a nicer lashon. He blesses Hashem. So he's patur from achatas, the Mishnah says, according to Chacham. Mayaf megadif, Rabbanon Shomolei Rav Akiva, af. Meaning, even, also what? What is it also? In addition to what else does the Mishnah say that you're saying megadif? What else is there that you're part of a mechatos? Rabbanan Shamalei Rav Akiva Tani Baloiv V'Leitani Yidoni. The Rav Akiva said that if you put the Yidoni, you put the bone in your mouth, and there's no maisa, if you put it under your armpits and you go like this, you flap like a chicken, that's a maisa, okay, fine. But if you put it in your mouth and it starts talking to you, there's no mice in that, and you're potter omulei. So the Chacham told him that's the af. Maishna, why is Yidoni different? Because there's no action. Talking, there's no maisa. But Rav Akiva holds talking is a little bit of a maisa. Fine. Torah Rabbanon megadef maybe carbon hoyev and emer by kores divrei Rav Akiva. Megadef brings a carbon since this chorus. Since this chorus, there's a carbon. V'oimer cheta yisa. The Gemara is going to explain what this means. It comes in middle. On the base right away, we're going to explain these words. V'oimer, we actually have to put in different words. The other pasuk, v'nasa cheta, I think it is. Fine. Says the Gemara, uklalo. Is this a general rule? Anytime the Torah brings the Isra Kares, you bring a carbon. Why don't we bring a carbon by Pesach Mila? Because it's a mitzvah say. So in other words, it's not necessary. Who told you that every time it says Kares, you bring a carbon? It's not true. This case is that this Kares and there's no carbon. It says the Gemara, Megadef maybe carbon hoyel uboy boy kares b'mokim carbon divrei Rebbe Akiva. If you look on the side of my Gemara, at least on this Oiz V'Hada Gemara, the top where it says Torah or Shalem, it brings the psukim. And interesting, he brings it. First time I've ever seen it, says carbon avodah zara. I don't think the Art Scroll brings it. In other words, he's explained to you that these three psukim, all the way in the beginning of the where they bring the psukim on the side of the Gemara, is referring to avodah zara. It's a parish of avodah zara. Now, if you go through the psukim, he brings all three psukim, and all the way at the end it says, in middle of a parsha of avodah zara that's talking about a chatas of avodah zara, a carbon of avodah zara, megadef, v'nichrasa. Says Rebbe Akiva, what is it doing here? It should be in its own little place. Why did the Torah stick it in the middle of avodah zara? Says the Gemara, because to tell you that just like avodah zara, you bring a carbon b'shaygeg, so too this guy, the Nichrasa and the Shagig. Now, at the end of the Arshwa Gemara, and the Shita Mekubetzes brings it down over here, it's a different Lashon, a different Girsa. I'm going to read it to you. You could listen to me, or you could look in the end of the Arshwa. It's 10 pages from the end of the Arshwa if you have the Arshwa, or in the Shita. V'oimer cheta yisa. It's going back to the Gemara that we brought before. What does it mean by cheta yisa? Asan Rabbanan. Over here it says Asan Rebbe Akiva. The Rashi says this the wording here is completely mishubash, and we have to go with this girsa. That what? It goes according to Chachamim. Listen to this. What's Rebbe Akiva's whole svara? That in the middle of the parish of Avodah Zarah, it talks about a megadev, somebody that blesses Hashem. Say Chacham, it's not true. It says the word megadev, but it's not talking about a person blessing Hashem. It's talking about a person singing to Avodah Zarah. It's part of the Avodah Zarah, so really you don't have a raya that you bring a carbon. I'm mechulik on you. We're mechulik on you, Rebbe Akiva. You don't bring a chatos. Because the megadev in Avodah Zarah is actually Avodah Zarah. Somebody that sings to Avodah Zarah, which by the way, as the Gemara is going to say soon, is much less of a chumrah than somebody that's megadev. Somebody that Chas Hashem curses the name of Hashem is the worst of the worst. Somebody that sings to Avodah Zarah, it's a terrible thing. But he's not being oiker HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's mishat of somebody else, let's say. He believes also in this thing, but he's not cursing Hashem's name. That's the worst of the worst. And Mamela, you don't bring a carbon on that. So where do I know the whole concept of kares? If you're going to remove this pasuk that it says mefurish, megadef v'nichrasa, it's not talking about a megadef. How do I know megadef gets kares? I have to come on to Gzera Shava. Mala alon kares. El kares b'mvarach Hashem v'nolon. Mala kares avkan kares. I'm sorry. Ksiv b'mvarach Hashem v'nosa chetoy. Uksiv b'Pesach. I learned from Korban Pesach. Chetoy Yisa. Similar lashon. Mala kares avkan kares. I learned from kares. And Rashi brings over here Rebbe Akiva who doesn't learn this, so he learns Pesach Sheni from Megadef. The Pesach Sheni. Sorry. Rebbe Akiva is like kares b'Pesach Sheni. Umukil lechetay Yisa b'Pesach Sheni. We go to Megadef, and he learns it out from Megadef. Yeah, Pesach Sheni from Megadef. Now we could skip to, we just read, this thing will go to Tanu Rabbanan. It was just a change in the lashon of from V'omer until Tanu Rabbanan. Now holding by Tanu Rabbanan. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines from the top. Tanu Rabbanan. Es Hashem hu Megadef isi ben Yudah omer ka'adam omer l'chaveri gifto hakara. Rashi says that Megadef could be a lashon of Megaref. The Dalet and the Reish are interchangeable. Sometimes they look the same. So Mamela, it's to explain to you that Avodah Zarah is less than benching Hashem. Why? Because if there's a plate with food, and not only do you remove the food, but you remove part of my wooden plate, you're uprooting HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the worst of the worst. Because Savar Megadev Mevarach Hashem. So he holds Megadev is Mevarach Hashem. It's not Avodah Zarah. It's actually be Mevarach Hashem. You took off the food from the plate, but you left me the plate, Baruch Hashem. So you were over Avodah Zarah, but you left Rebbeinu Shloim in its place. So you're not so bad. Like the Pshat and Chachamim in that parsha. You're right, it belongs in Avodah Zarah because it is Avodah Zarah, and it's not as bad as Mevarach es Hashem. Tanya Yidoch es Hashem Umgalev. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Omer, Bo'ibed Avodah Zarah kosim medaber, v'Chacham Oimrim Liba kosav v'ledit and koris l'Mevarach Hashem. It's not talking about Avodah. It's not. It's Bo'ibed Avodah Zarah kosim medaber, Chacham Liba kosav v'ledit and koris l'Mevarach Hashem. So over here, this is like a Rabbi Kiva. That it's not Avodah Zarah, it's actually Megadif, and it's coming to tell you Koros. Says the Mishnah. Now we're talking about korbanos that don't come for a chet. What korban doesn't come for a chet? If a woman gives birth, she has to bring a chatos. But it's not because she did an aver. Yesh Meviyos, you probably think to yourself, yeah, she did aver because she swore that she's not, yeah. Yesh Meviyos, but it's not really. Yesh Meviyos korban v'nechal, Yesh Meviyos korban v'ein nechal. There are women who have to bring a carbon, and you could eat the carbon chatos, like every chatos. Which maybe is carbon and nechal. Where there's a suffix, you can't eat it. And some women who give birth to something that doesn't resemble a human being or some funny form, she doesn't bring a carbon at all. Is carbon v'nechal. What's the case? If it has a tzura of an animal or bird, the Meir holds because it says Yitzira by an animal, so it's a tzura. Chacham say no, it has to be a tzura of an adam. Hamapel sandal or shilya or shvir. If she gives birth, she miscarries something that looks a form that looks like a sandal or afterbirth or a embryo that's merukam that's already developed. Meaning, if you look at the embryo and already started to develop limbs, that's a developed embryo, and she's chayav a carbon. Embryo. I already got frankincense down. Embryo. And it happens today, unfortunately, sometimes during birth, the baby gets chopped up. Even a shivcha is chayav mitzvahs like a woman, brings a carbon like a woman. The Gemara is going to say what the chiddush is. And who brings a carbon but you don't eat the carbon? Hamapelas, when you do a ma'apila, she has no idea whether she's chayiv in a carbon or not. Two women who gave birth, let's say in a dark place, and they don't know which one gave birth to the chiyuv and which one gave birth to the ptur. So they bring a oila and they make a tnai on the oila. The chatos is different. The chatos, you do malika here. So if she doesn't have to bring this chatos, what is this? It's an avela. If you do malika to a bird that you don't have to bring, then the bird is an avela, so you can't eat it. What about chulin ba'azara? That's not a problem because you're not bringing it on the mizbeach, you're just sprinkling his blood on the mizbeach.
It's not a vada, you can't eat it at all.
No, it's not a vada, you can't eat it. Or Rabbi Yossi, a mosai, Rabbi Yossi mechulik. Bizman shochu zeh lemizbeach v'zeh lemayriv, if they're not together. The Gemara is going to explain. If both of them are there, let them bring a carbon. The Gemara is going to explain. They'll both bring an oila and one chatos b'shutfus and make a tnai on the chatos. And who doesn't bring at all? Hamapeles, shvira, embryo, mole mayim, full of water, mole dam, full of blood, mole gninim, some colorful substance. Hamapeles kimin dogim v'chagovim. It has a shape of a fish or a grasshopper, some cockroach, or she miscarried before she had 40 full days. That's nothing. And she doesn't bring a carbon if she gave birth with a cesarean. Says the Gemara, how do I know that a shivcha has to bring a carbon? It comes to include another type of woman. It comes to include a shivcha. Why would I think that a shivcha is chayiv on Shabbos, she's chayiv on everything? All of a sudden, when it comes to the carbon, she's not chayiv. When a man is chayiv and you say a woman is chayiv and the same mitzvah as the man, then a shivcha is like a woman and she's also chayiv. But if something is specific to a woman, a man doesn't give birth, so maybe this shivcha doesn't have the chiyuv to bring it. Leisa ema leitachayev shivcha. Achitani shivcha. That's why the Mishnah mentions shivcha. Elu mevim korban. And Rabbi Yossi explains that if they're both standing in the same place, they bring together. Mayavdin. How do you do it? Ma'isen tarvayu chad korban. Each one should bring one oila. Vaday. V'chata soiv sofik. And once, in other words, they bring 3 total. 1 oila each, and 1 chatas together as a partnership. Umasne. And they make a deal with each other. They say, if I didn't give birth to it, I don't owe it, then I'm being mevater to you. Yumi Isle, Rabbi Yossi, Tana, Rabbi Yossi says you can't do a condition. But nan, Rabbi Shimon mevin shneim chatas achas. For instance, if one person, Reuven, ate a piece of something that looked like nice fat, and the other one looked like fat, but one of them ate shuman and one of them ate chalev. So I have a trick. We could just bring 1 chatos, a partnership. Rabbi Yossi says it doesn't work. So why over here by 2 women it works?
The one that's about to coin, right?
No. Rabbi Yossi oimer ein shnei mevim chatos achas. Amar Rabbi Yossi les leitna. You don't say it now. Amar Rava, Rabbi Yossi b'mechutz kapara. Over here she didn't do an avera. There's no avera. She just wants to eat kachim. What's the difference? You need the person to know what he did. He has to have knowledge of his chet. That's why you don't bring 2 people, can't bring 1, because each one doesn't have the knowledge. That's why they don't make it night. Why they bring it to eat the kachim? Not because they did an avera. He says mefurish. Rabbi Yossi says when it comes for an avera, then ein shtayim meviyos soisa. Elu shein meviyos Reb Shimon mechayev b'yotze doifen. My time Reb Shimon. Or Rish Lakish Amakrov and Nekeva Teiled. There's an extra word because the whole parsha says v'yolda zachar. She gave birth to zachar. Vim Nekeva Teiled. We're talking about giving birth here, of course. So all the Torah had to say is Vim Nekeva. You get 14 days plus 66 days. There's no need to say the word Teiled. L'rabbis leida acheres. My Mahi, which is the other leida yotzedayf. Rabbanu matayim over mani bapatish. Isha kitazriya v'yolda. Where she became pregnant from, that's where she has to give birth from, and Memela, cesarean, she's potter from a carbon completely. Let's continue. Weiter, we have a few minutes, Baruch Hashem, says the Mishnah. So it works like this. If a woman gives birth to an akeva, she has 14 days of tumah and 66 days of tahara freebies. Even if she becomes tameh, she sees dam during those 66 days, she is tar. For a total of, great to see you, for a total of 80 days. So she brings a carbon on the 81st day. Ask the Mishnah, very interesting question. What happens if she miscarried on the night before she brings the carbon? If she saw blood, then she's tameh. It's already past the 80 days. It's not free anymore. But a carbon she can't bring until the following day. Say Beis Shammai, then the carbon of the following day is pater's her for the carbon she has to bring on her second miscarriage, because she can't bring it yet, and she's bringing it tomorrow. She had it in a period of time where she couldn't bring the carbon. So any carbon she brings for Leida pater's anything that she gave birth to. Say Beis Hillel, wait a minute, but she's already out of the 80 days of tahara. If she saw dam, she would become tameh. She's already past the 80 days, so she has to bring another carbon. What do we do here? So there's a whole back and forth there, very interesting back and forth in the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Hamapeles, and it's only talking about in a nekeva. Why? Because the Zachar, you only have 7 days of Tumah, plus 33 days of Tahara. So when did she give birth? On the 40th day. When did she get pregnant? She can only get pregnant 7 days after she gave birth, because she's Tameh for 7 days. 33-day-old embryo is nothing. We said it has to be 40-day embryo. So Mela, we're talking about a peles on the keva. What's the logic here? Oh, on the 81st day, she has to bring a carbon if she's already tummy that night. If she sees dam, shouldn't she bring another carbon? But she can't bring a carbon at night. I'm going by when she could bring a carbon, and since she couldn't bring a carbon, and she was mapil at that time, so my carbon that I bring tomorrow patters me. What it has nothing to do with the carbon. What if her 81st day fell on a Shabbos where she can't bring a carbon because of technical reason? She really loved the carbon carbon, and nevertheless she still have a carbon. That's not a good svara. It happens to be a technical reason why she can't bring a carbon on Shabbos because she's a yochid, but there is the concept of carbon. And this point that you brought out, that if she becomes tamei from dam the night of 81, she becomes tamei. That's not a good raya. What if a woman miscarried on day 50, let's say? She doesn't have to bring a carbon, but she's tamei with the dam. So you see that the dam is no shaykhs to the carbon. You can still be part from a carbon and be tamei. So just because you become tamei doesn't mean you have to bring another carbon. Yeah. No, because she's mapel, she gave birth. Regular dam, she's tar. But a mapela's dam should be, and why is she part from a carbon? Because her carbon that she's going to bring for the original leda pathers her. Have a wonderful day. Wow. Nisim that we're holding on the daf. Mamish and Nes.